This is not another stream. This is the moment we show up. Real talk, real truth, real people, ready to ride. No filter, no fluff, just raw conversation that hits where it matters. Welcome to the revolution of You Become You Live. Let's do it live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit it! Hey everyone, this is William Rochelle, but you can call me Bill, and welcome to another episode of UBU Live, where we throw out the rule book and get real about what it means to show up powerfully, fully, and authentically in this world. Now, today's guest, he's not just a speaker. He's not just a coach. He's a catalyst. The kind of man who walks into virtual rooms and shifts the energy without saying a word. He helps people like you, and more importantly, helpfully today, people like me, become seen, heard, and remembered. And I want everyone to think about that, because you might listen to me right now and say, oh, he's seen, he's heard, he's remembered, but that's not how I feel. And I don't talk to my guests beforehand, but we did speak about that earlier, that we are our own worst critics. So if you've ever felt stuck, invisible, unsure how to describe what you bring to the table, you're not alone. And that's why I had Americo come on this mic. He's the mind behind your voice, your vision, your stage. He's a master in blending live stream strategy, customer experience, personal branding, and social selling into a roadmap for impact. But let me be clear, this isn't a sales pitch. This is about discovery. Two guys that want to know what made, well, one guy that wants to know what made America, America. I'm sure you know what made you, you. So welcome, Americo.
Wow,
I'm so excited to have you.
You built this up so much that I want to meet this Americo guy myself now.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Listen, I want to thank you for bringing me on. I know you and I behind the scenes have been kind of playing a little bit of guest ping pong, trying to get each other. But you know what you deserve? This is unscripted, right? Yeah. We don't know what we're talking about, but you, my friend, deserve a round of applause for you just being you and bringing your authentic self. Kudos to what you're doing, what you're building, and I'm proud to be part of your community.
I appreciate that. First, see, this is why it's unscripted, because I want to know, how do I get a sound machine like that? Like, I don't have that. Like, I don't have any of the fancy stuff that you bring to the table. So your production is far, like, it's off the chain.
Well, there's stuff to be learned from everyone. I love your intro video.
Oh, thank you.
I've been dabbling and playing with my intros. I've come to the realization that maybe it's time to curtail. One of them's like 40 seconds long, and I realized that our attention span isn't what it once was. And if I lose my audience members at the intro, then my shows are all for naught, right? So stay tuned. I will be toying around with that. And that's the beauty of what I do and I enjoy doing, is I'm okay and I'm perfectly fine with sucking at something at the expense of learning and helping others, right? So people can, whether they call it vicariously walking through my steps, I want to be able to demonstrate, hey, here's what works, but here's why it works, and be able to show the social proof. Go listen to my episode from 6 months ago and see how horrible it was.
How long have you been doing it?
I made this transformation at the beginning of the year. So last December, I decided, hey, being a keyboard warrior, it's not cutting it. My passion and the keyboard, we saw eye to eye, but those who are consuming my content, consuming my story through my written word, it just wasn't resonating. So I felt it's time for me to bring my audible presence, my visual presence, and really talk about my subject matter, my area of expertise, and what I want to do to help my community. But be authentic. And when you show up as yourself and you share your vulnerabilities, you're going to accelerate trust. And that's what we're building here. We're building a community that is perpetual, and it will accelerate that like, know, and trust, but most importantly, trust.
So you're going to find this shocking, but it sounds like our trek has been pretty much the same. So I'm just going to share mine for 10 seconds because this is about you. I found myself at a certain age, and Kenneth Dunner can keep his mouth shut, where I was like,
Might be hard to do.
yeah. I was like, this is not the age I thought that I would be looking for a job. So what I decided to do was to write articles about it. And we all do things for different reasons, but I think the most important part is to get up and do them. So my reason was, if I don't have something to do every day, if I don't have a place to go every day, then I can get lost. I can sit on my couch and watch Netflix all damn day. But if I'm writing an article about how I'm feeling today on the news, or how I'm not getting any responses, there's someone out there that it resonates with. So I did the articles for about a year. And then in, I believe, January or February, I said, well, maybe what it is my resume is making me sound or feel more mature than I feel internally. So what I'd like to do is to put a face to the script, to let them know the personality behind the genius. And so that's how I got into podcasting. And I took it, I don't know if it's similar to you, but I took my lead from Don Lemon. So Don Lemon got fired, and he jumped on YouTube, and he was a mess. And I was like, if he can do this as a mess, as big as he is, then I can do it. So I would just turn the lights. There's never a right time. There's never the perfect lighting.
That is right.
Never, the perfect equipment. So I first started off with my earpods and just talking to the team.
Listen, it does sound like we have a very similar journey. I too, I was laid off 3 times post pandemic.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're just chewed up and spit out. And listen, I've been on both sides of the conversation. I know that I don't take anything personally, nor should anyone. And that's the advice I give people. You can't take those decisions personally. It is just as difficult delivering a message to someone who's got to go home and tell their family that they're out of a job. It's that much harder delivering the message than it is to hear the message. And people may not believe me, but if it's true, at least for myself. And you're right. Is age a factor? Possibly. Despite, people saying ageism is not a thing, we embrace this whole DEI, and age is part of that inclusion. I want to believe it, but the reality dictates that perhaps there's a hidden story there. But once again, not taking it personally.
But just hold on for a second. So the story could be not necessarily ageism, but because of our experience, people just assume that they can't afford us. Absolutely. Or that we're not ready, we're not willing to start mid-level again to, eventually rise up. My must-haves are completely different than they were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Completely. It's more time with my family, with my grandson, with being able to take trips. But my work ethic, because I'm a startup guy, is you get in there at 7:00 in the morning and you leave at 8:00 at night, and you work on Saturdays and Sundays, even if it's just a check-in. So I haven't mastered that work-life balance piece.
Let me share a little bit of my personal story. one of the roles in the last 5 years that I had, and it doesn't really matter who it was with, but the organization was a startup. It was young, it was vibrant. And, we hear so often that teaching that old dog new tricks. And maybe we're just one of those old dogs. And yes, people, it's like, well, can we afford this level of expertise? Will this level of expertise be willing to kind of step back and adapt and adopt to what the workplace looks like today? The answer for me is absolutely, right? I'm amiable and I can adapt and adopt quite easily.
And roll up your sleeves.
Absolutely, and roll up our sleeves. But that's where the dynamic also comes into play. There are hiring managers and leaders in organizations who might think, all right, this person, because of their experience, might come in too rigid and try to shake things up and scare what we've already built. Right. So there's that dynamic as well. And I understand that. But listen, it's behind myself. It's behind you. We're looking forward, and we found a way to contribute to our communities, contribute to our society. And it sounds like you and I are on a similar trajectory, trying to build a business, build a community around our journey and around the experience that we've acquired, because there's that is equity that no one can take away from us.
Yeah.
Our experience.
I agree with that. Was there a point in time? So first, I'm going to keep giving you your kudos because that's why I wanted you on the show. At what point did you recognize that you could be a career coach? Because I'm sure that during both of our careers, we've coached and mentored tons of people and gotten people to the next level just by believing in them. But not everyone can take that and say, I can monetize it. Like, what made you make that decision?
Well, I'll take a step back and start with answering your initial comment. Yes, we've hired. I've been in the hiring position, worn the hiring hat, not from an HR perspective, but simply from a hiring manager, sales teams, service teams, project teams. And I've hired hundreds of people and helped some of those through leadership, coaching, and development move along the organization. And there were conversations where people would ask me, it's like, why are you doing this? Why are you going out of your way to help me get to where I want to be? It's like, well, first and foremost, it's what I'm responsible for. I'm your leader, and I'm here to lead, support, and develop you and make sure that you meet your career goals. And I know from those who are further along in their journey, who are mentoring myself, that at some point I'm going to hit a crossroad where you might be my boss. And I want to make sure that I'm grooming and I'm developing the younger talent so that one day when I hit that crossroad, I will be remembered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. May I stop you for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So Diane Newman, and we're not calling people out. This is a happy place. This is UBU Live. You say what's on your mind. But Diane, I will tell you that I've owned my own company, that I have built startups like Jade 8, Christian Mingle, Silver Singles from the ground up and turned them into $90 million a year companies, that I've worked with Teleflora that was a $4 billion company. And I've been out of work since my company closed in 2020. Out of the 5 years, I've been out of work 3. So when you say there are too many assumptions, I will tell you that whenever I get a recruiter on the line, and I'm not speaking for anyone else but myself, the first thing they say is, why would you want to take this position? And the first thing you want to think is, because I need a job, right? But that's not the answer, because you can't act like you want a job. So it really is that customer service is my jam. That's where I have started. That's where I make the most impact. That's what changes the direction of the brand. And I've successfully done it through multiple companies in multiple eras in multiple industries. So when we talk about assumptions, I started in 2000 with online dating. That wasn't a thing. I created the blueprint. I started in 2012 with e-commerce. That wasn't a thing. I created the blueprint before Wayfair went public. And Teleflora, I launched their first web hosting department. So that wasn't a thing until I did it. And so each industry, I've been on the forefront of emerging growth. So I've never worked for a company where someone handed me, and I'm good with it, by the way, handed to me a blueprint and say, this is how we do things around here. This is the structure that we have. And I've created career paths for over 90 people because I hired so well that the entire company would meet somebody in the break room. Not sure if this happens to you, and they would say, I love her. I think she's great. I had a conversation in the break room. I think that she would be really good as my assistant in marketing. And my only caveat to that, America, was please talk to me before you talk to them, because then that puts me in a whole bunch of chaos, right?
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
person's like, I don't want to be in this job anymore. I have this like possibility of going over here. And then they also think that the hiring manager wanted them, and then I restricted it. And so I'm never going to restrict it, but let's make sure that we're going in the right direction, because you haven't hired her yet. You haven't gone through a formal hiring process. So, and in addition to what I've already named, Diane, it's been opening up offices in Israel. It's been opening up offices in Sri Lanka. It's been opening up offices in Provo, Utah. And in each of those areas, I did not speak the in language, but I was able to train them in the English with an interpreter. And as we grow with AI, I have found that I can put anything that I want into Chat GPT and it will give me an answer in English, and then I can translate that back to the in language. So I'm not saying, Diane, that what you said has pushed a button, because it hasn't, but it really is your perspective. And my assumption is my life. It's not an assumption. It's kind of like, all right, why didn't I get that director of customer service position? Like, what made me non-qualified after opening up all these areas and training on new products and dealing with AI and implementing AI into the service system so that it had a blend of a human touch along with the artificial intelligence, which made it stronger. So, yeah, I'm not seeing that I'm assuming anything. I'm seeing that my lens, my experience is saying that there's something out there that is discarding my oh, okay. There's something going on with me being unemployed and not being able to get a job. Like, I don't get it. Go ahead, America.
Yeah, so
And you can
agree
reply
with
to Diane.
so
by the
so
way.
Diane has clarified or provided more clarity around the assumption. So she's saying that there's too many assumptions by hiring managers, and that has always existed. Let's not kid ourselves, and that's probably not going to change in anytime soon, right? Because people progress, and people will always come in with their ideas and with their vision of what they want to build as they join an organization. But you know what? That's what we're doing now. We're building a legacy for ourselves, and we're trying to monetize this equity that I mentioned in helping others build what they're trying to manifest. Because how many people have we come across through comments, through engagement, through connection, who have this idea and this mindset that, you know what, I got this. I really want to put this pen to paper, but move it from just an idea and bring it into reality. And that's where I found that sweet spot. Now, 2 years ago, when I started this whole creator journey, I was writing, posting, and despite popular advice, despite those top voices saying, you can't be all things to all people, we all got to go through that and learn that the hard way. Of course, I can be everything to all people. I was a cross-functional leader. I wore multiple hats, and because I wore multiple hats, I can help multiple people. And listen, we're all going to learn. I learned it can't be done, and we should have taken that advice.
So it cannot be done to be all things to all people?
Well,
or it can be.
It shouldn't be broadcast, right? You shouldn't be self-promoting that you are all things to all people. And what I've learned is give people or give your community what they want to then be able to build and earn the trust to sell them what they need.
Got it.
And that's where these events came in, right? You know what? Stop talking about the solutions. Stop talking about how you can fix other people's problems and just start social selling. Just have these conversations. Let people hear your thoughts. Let people hear your stories. Let people build and absorb what you have to say. And once they earn your trust and they start, hey, this aligns with what I'm trying to build. This aligns with who I am. I'm going to reach out.
Yep.
And, you know, my calendar started to fill up slowly ever since I made this shift. And people are reaching out, hey, caught one of your shows. And this whole perpetual activity, like today's show, perfect example. I'll be perfectly transparent. I didn't promote it to my community yet. I'm always testing. I'm always trying different things. I accepted your speaker's invite, and now I'm going to promote it afterwards because I truly believe magic happens when you repurpose the event. People who are showing up live, they're here, they're contributing, they're engaging with us, but the magic really happens afterwards. You know, look at marketing from a marketing lens. The UGC effect, user-generated content that can be repurposed from this show, lessons learned, takeaways, comments from our community, and you start to put that and build that as part of your content strategy. And that was also a shift.
So were you afraid to promote it because you didn't know what it would be?
No. I was not.
Okay.
You will see. There's till now, everything that I do doesn't have a flow. I'm trying, scheduling events on different times, different days. I'm trying different formats. I do audio only. I do talking thumbnails. I do on camera. So this is all just part of my ecosystem. I'm trying different things to see what works so that when people sit down with me, they're going to ask me, all right, so what works? What's the best day for me to go live? What's the best format? Or it could be, I don't want to go on camera. I have this tremendous anxiety about going on camera. No worries. We got solutions for that. Let's make this an audio event. Are you comfortable speaking as if you were on the phone? Perfect. We'll create an event around that. The analytics, when I look at my post-show analytics, I look at the number of registered attendees, and people who actually show up are always 2 times more people show up than people attend or registered to attend.
Register. Yeah.
So, right. That starts to, that gives me a light bulb moment. It's like, all right, so people will come no matter what you do. If you promote it pre-live, they're going to show up. So now how do we optimize for those who haven't shown up? How do we raise awareness and consideration for them to come back to the replay and get value out of our conversation?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do with this particular show. So it wasn't out of fear. It wasn't out of lack of trust. It was done with purpose and intention.
Okay.
I want to see how we can take this to the next level.
And that we shall do. Now, I really want to bring up something that makes me proud. Okay. What makes me proud is that I am human, and I misinterpreted Diane Newman's comment. So I took it in a direction that said, hey, I'm not assuming anything. This is where we're going. And the reason why I love the UBU Live platform is that she was able to say, no, bro, you're not understanding what I was saying. And I need a job too. And then Meryl was able to kick in and go, well, then contact me. So if we had just let her comment sit and we didn't address it, whether I addressed it right or wrong, because again, we are all human, then she would never be in the contact with Meryl. And we don't know what Meryl can do for her, but Meryl, I need a job too. So
well, here's the other thing that we've just proven and shared on a live stream. Had this been a written content, because we can't decipher the tone,
yeah,
we're all interpreting what someone writes differently, and we'll articulate and write with passion based on how that comment strikes us and hits us.
Based on our lens, based on our history.
Based on our lens, based on our history, where when you're at an event like this, someone gets the opportunity to either correct themselves, articulate, provide clarity, and this is magic. This is happening in real time.
Real time, yeah.
Right? And
I was able to say, I'm sorry. I'm a human. We're in the same boat. Like, I didn't understand any of that, right? And we were able to figure out all that in 10 seconds.
Here's another example. I really love this because this happened just yesterday. And we talk about helping people. You hear me saying, be seen, be heard, be remembered.
Yep.
And that's sticking. That's starting to resonate. There is a gentleman, and here we go again, this whole LinkedIn effect and how powerful it is and how it all came to fruition through community building. There is a gentleman by the name of Zane L. Zane. He's out in Western Canada. He's out in Edmonton. I didn't know this person until yesterday. This person in the same predicament that you and I are, and many others are, looking for work, struggling to land an interview, struggling to make headways in his job search. So he thought he'd come up with an outside the box idea. He reached out to a local radio show, Dylan and Pepper in the Morning, out in Edmonton. He calls and he shares his story. Hey, here's what's going on with me. Here's my thoughts. I want to reach out to the community through the airways. I want anyone listening. If you can help me, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Well, a friend of mine who used to work with me in Toronto is now working in Edmonton, hears this and reaches out to me. Goes, I want to create a post. I heard this guy on the morning talk show. I want to help him. I want to write a post. Can you help me write my message?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I can probably not only help you with your message, but let's take this to a larger stage. I reached out to Zane yesterday, inviting him to connect. I said, are you open to joining me on stage? I brought him on stage yesterday, and it wasn't even my show. It was Keith Keller's show. And we were talking about storytelling. And I shared this story with Keith. It's like, wow, what if we brought him on our show and had him share our stage? Would that help him? It's like, well, let's give it a try. And in real time, this is all happening in real time. I'm sending him a DM. Are you available to join me on a live stream? He joins in, and the rest is history.
Kills it.
We killed it.
Yeah.
And this is another perfect way, an example, whether it's for business, whether it's for professionals, job seekers. This stage is filled with people wanting to help.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that. I always thought, like many do, like there's 27, apparently there's 27 million LinkedIn members in Canada alone, and there's maybe a million in the US. But are we using this effectively, or do we still that this is the LinkedIn from 20 years ago, that digital Dropbox for resumes and applications?
What do you get mostly?
What do I think it is?
What do you get mostly? If you were to go through your messages,
Yeah.
What do you mostly receive?
I get my fair share of pitch slaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love those, just like telemarketers.
Why do you love them? Because, and maybe it's just the phase I'm in. I'm like, you don't see open to work. like yours is different because yours just says live, right?
Yeah. So I have open to work visible to recruiters only. So if the right opportunity presents itself, and whether it's a 1099 or a contract, like I'm open to those. But I'll go just like a boxing match. I'll go punch for punch. You want to pitch me? Guess what? I will pitch you right back. I'll respond to your pitch with a pitch of my own. And I landed a call with one of the pitches today.
Good.
I'm not gonna lie to you, it's the first time it's happened where someone said, "All right, I'm willing to sit down and hear what you have to say." But that's how you got to look at it. Take it with a grain of salt and let it roll off your back like water on a duck. Don't take it personally. Those people, no different than when we were gainfully employed, they're taking their marching orders, their instructions. They're accountable for, their
bringing in a certain amount of revenue.
Right? So you can't really hate the whole pitch slapping.
I hate no one. It's when your inbox is flooded with, hey, can you help me find a job when I'm looking for a job? It becomes more frustrating. But I do have a question for you.
Yes.
Can you answer Felipe his question? Because I got Diane's question so wrong that I'm afraid to answer Felipe's.
The right mindset is key.
Yeah. Do I have a bad mindset? Yeah.
Well,
he's going to kill me.
I'm going to respond that holistically. The right mindset means different things to different people. But the one thing that LinkedIn and any other social platforms do and don't do, positively and negatively, is feed off of negative energy. Okay. So those who are here for vanity, for virality, we all could have jumped on the Coldplay train and posted about the whole Coldplay concert event and ridden into, ride the coattails of that flashy trend that went viral. I chose not to. Similarly, like I mentioned earlier, been on both sides of the conversation, having lost my job and having shared that others will be losing their job. It's incumbent upon me not to run to LinkedIn and share how much I hate an organization, how much I hate the hiring process, or how much I hate the struggle of looking for work. That is feeding negative energy. And that's, I think, where Felipe might be alluding to. It's the mindset. You're going to get out what you put into it. If you put out a negative vibe, you're going to get that negative energy.
So, yeah. So in my mind, which, to live in here is its own little playground. I feel as if I am trying everything to keep everything positive. That's how I feel. Mm-hmm. It may not be true, but that's how I feel. My newsletters have always been about whenever you fall forward. Your journey is your journey. Don't be on anyone else's timelines. Here are 10 things to keep your attitude like uplifted while you're looking for a job. And even my conversations, are less about selling myself. I will say, periodically, every 2 seconds, that if anybody out there is hiring, yeah, come in, call me. But I'm not bashing. I feel, and this is where the coach comes in, right? In my opinion, my opinion, I am being as transparent, authentic, and inspirational all at the same time as I possibly can be.
So here's another thing that I'm starting to learn, and I was naive around this subject matter. Is you can also be positive and ineffective, because your positive message might not align with the audience that you're speaking with, might not have relevance to your community. So you heard me sharing earlier, give your community what they want to then be able to serve them with what they need, or sell them what they need. So if you're marching to the beat of a drum that says, here are all the positive reasons that you can influence and improve or change your job search, this is all great content. This is all great and relevant information. But is it relevant to the community that you've built? Is it relevant to the business that you're building? Right. And it's ironically, I got asked the same message not too long ago, or similar message. So you're this customer experience guy. You talk about customer experience. You talk about a whole variety of things. You're trying to incorporate this into your virtual events, and you're trying to build a business around it. Explain to me where this whole job seeker and helping job seekers comes into all of this. And it was a great question, and the response, it's multifaceted. There's a place in my heart, having been a job seeker, having been a hiring manager, having been a coach in the corporate world and in that corporate space, that I still feel compelled to help the job seeker community. And I've created and built a show in a virtual event. LinkedIn Literacy is built around those job seekers, professionals, SDRs looking to change and evolve and learn how to improve their LinkedIn experience. So I can still raise awareness and help others raise awareness for themselves. There's still one thing that many people have difficulty appreciating, and that's their skills is a marketing tool. You need to market yourself as a job seeker. You become the product, you become the commodity, and you got to sell yourself like no other product. You got to put yourself on this virtual shelf, and employers and hiring managers and recruiters, they're your customers. And you got to treat yourself like a marketing campaign. You got to separate yourself from the competition. So why I'm helping the job seeker? Because it ties in. There's a journey, and you got to look at this from a different lens and understand who your customers are. And your customers are hiring managers, their businesses, their recruiters. So that's how I tie in the job seeking and supporting the job seekers, and not just businesses.
Yeah, that was a fairly good answer.
Did you want something else?
No, I'm just messing with you. That was a really good answer. Have you ever run into a situation, and I feel like I'm that person, where you just can't help them? They are resistant, or they're afraid to fill out the form that you gave them to tell you more about themselves. They don't know how to promote themselves, so they're not really giving you. It's like pulling teeth to get them to where they need to be. And at times they just ghost you.
Hey, here's my secret sauce. There's no forms. I'm not trying to push a square peg into a round hole. When I coach, uh, I take a boutique style approach to it, and there's no 10-step formula. Here's this 10-step coaching process. Follow these 10 steps, or over the next 10 weeks, we're going to go through these 10 steps, because those steps are different for everyone. So when I sit down, like I don't do master classes and bring in uh, 50, 60 people all at once and feed them one message, because
Right.
it's
Everyone's
not
different.
everyone's different. So I'll sit down, and rather than a forum, we're going to have a pitch-free conversation. I'm going to share some advice. It'll be free advice. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, you'll probably take it and run, and I'll never hear from you again. But if I'm able to help you through those conversations, then by all means, just remember me when someone asks, "Hey, do you know someone who can help me?" Right? I'm more interested in getting into the enterprise levels. Let me come in and let me help your team.
Once you're in
Optimize,
the position,
right?
let me help the entire team
Let me
versus
help the entire team. Right?
singular.
Let's help you hit your sales goals. Let's help you hit your objectives by optimizing your LinkedIn profile and your presence. Right? You're missing out on so much. Customers are already here. Why shouldn't you be? Right?
So, all right. So the presence, how do you build? What is your suggestion for building that presence? Because there's the overshare, and then there's I'm not sharing enough. And a lot of people struggle between that. There's the amount of content that you put out. Is it daily? Is it weekly? I notice that you're doing like live streams, like back to back to back to back, which is cool. I'm doing thoughts of the day back to back, and then a couple of live streams a week with a co-host. What is oversharing? What do you say is the no-no in LinkedIn? And then how do you determine which subjects you're going to take and which subjects you're going to stay away from?
Oh, we're going to take that in bite-sized pieces. um, let's start off with um, a response that may not really answer the question, but you got to find your own balance. You're going to hear 10 different thoughts from 10 different top voices on LinkedIn, giving 10 different suggestions. And you can try all 10 and not have any of them work for you. A year ago, okay, maybe 2 years ago, I was here twice a day, posting in the morning, posting in the afternoon, because I wanted to get people in different time zones, despite popular demand and suggestions saying, you don't be out here, don't be spamming your community. It was right for me. I felt that at that time, I was purely in awareness mode. I want to get as much content out. And then I eased up. As soon as I started hearing, it's like, dude, I can't pick up my phone without seeing without seeing a post in my feed with your face on it. It's like, perfect. It's working. Now it's time to step back and listen to what the larger voices are saying.
Because you're recognizable now.
Yeah, you're recognizable, and the community is working, and your message, the message wasn't resonating. I was getting the awareness, the whole vanity piece, like getting impressions, but I tried taking impressions to the bank, pay my bills. Bank would not take impressions.
I know.
Right?
I wish they would. I wish they would. I want to stay on this topic, but Kenneth Denner has asked that you answer Spencer's question. So that's why it's up on and only reason he asked both of us, but I'm not that educated on it. So I'm going to defer to you.
All right. So with so much talent in the disabled community, why do systemic barriers still prevent many from getting employed, and how employers and society better address these challenges? Well, that is a good question, and I'll even go out on a limb and say I don't have an HR background, and I may not be the best person to respond to that in terms of as to why there's difficulty. Personally, from my personal opinion, I think there's difficulty in all the
Area.
entire ecosystem, all spectrums. From diversity, from disability. It doesn't matter. I think everyone is feeling it. It's just the market that we're in, and I don't think that anyone is being pigeonholed or anyone is being alienated. This is a systemic problem that is impacting everyone. Wish I could help and give you a better answer, Spencer, but you're probably going to get better advice if you ask someone like Felipe, who's in that wheelhouse, might be able to give you a better response or point you in the direction as to where you might be able to get better information or resources around that subject matter.
Yeah, Spencer, I'm sorry that you have the question, but I also think it's important that we recognize what our strengths and meaning America and I, where we add value and where we don't, as opposed to just coming up with a question. And your response was fairly good.
So
that's going to be my line.
So back to the original comment. So we step back on frequency,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's also important when I say balance, it's important to understand your messaging sequence. I coined a phrase called the content trilogy. So at one point, my content and my shows were competing with one another. I was coming up with show ideas, subject matter to discuss at a live event, and then I was competing with trying to come up with different written content.
Right.
And that's where, if I'm going to give you advice, let's make sure that your content, whether short form, long form, on camera, off camera, it's sequential and it fits. Because the minute there's a disconnect, your audience recognizes it and you start losing engagement. A lot of people call it niche, and stick to your field of expertise, stick to your value proposition, stick to one, maybe, a couple key areas and just keep that flow, right? I'm giving you this advice and I'll be the first to tell you, sometimes I catch myself, kind of veering off the lane. I got to wheel myself back in. So it's really about knowing when to reel yourself in as part of that balancing act.
Yeah, I've struggled with that balance because when you're doing a live show or you're doing a thought of the day or you're doing a newsletter, we're human. We're human, and things go on that we may see, depending upon who we are, and say that doesn't align with my values. And not all money is good money. I'll say that out loud. So I'm not always going to be, I'm not going to support someone simply because that's the thing to do. And, but I try my best to stay away from it unless it's something that's so infuriating that if I don't speak, then it is me being complicit.
Yeah, and I'll take it one step further, because there's if something makes you that upset and infuriated, there's also no shame in removing that from your community. Because if it doesn't align with you and it struck a chord, there's probably a good chance that there is other content that you may have missed that you don't align with.
Well, not necessarily the content. It could be I woke up this morning and found out about the Epstein files. We're not going to talk about it, but you know, there's a lot around that people aren't talking about, and whether or not Barack Obama should be arrested, that's insane to me. But I'm not gonna. I'll say it here. It's a 15-second soundbite. I'm not gonna write about it. I refuse to give that any extra energy. But you know, in America, we're going through certain we're going through certain struggles, and I'm sure that it's very, very apparent in Canada what we're going through down here, and it's hard to wake up every morning and be supportive of insanity. And you can refuse it. You can refuse the answer. Remember, it's UBU Live. This is your brand. You don't have to say anything about it.
Well, it's. I'm not going to lie to you. I got distracted by Spencer's comment that you put up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, now you took it down. Okay. Spencer's intrigued by the artwork that is behind me, and there's an interesting story. I don't know who the artist is. I don't think if I took it down and saw the name behind it, I could share that with you. Reach out to me. This is actually artwork that I bought from the sale of my house when I set it up for when I put it up for sale. And rather than hiring someone to stage the house, I just went out and bought pieces and staged it myself. It was just cheaper because I had an attorney on payroll while I was getting divorced, so I couldn't afford to stage the place. But that's a different story for a different day. Listen, we're going to come across, you talk about, I don't want to make this political, but yeah. There are a lot of things that are outside of our control, and there are a lot of things that we have opinions on. And, some of us feel stronger than others. I try to be, neutral, or Switzerland, and know and understand and appreciate that there is right and there is wrong. And sometimes justice is served, and sometimes justice isn't served. Where it needs to be served. Should we rally behind it and create a larger platform? That's not who I am. So I try to stay away from that noise.
Yeah. My daughter and her husband are very much neutral, which is very difficult for me because I've really chosen a side, right? Anyway, that is what it is. You be you, and I will be me.
So now we're dealing with Daniel, who has
your pictures
or might suffer from a little bit of OCD. He's telling me that the one to my right is a little crooked, and now my OCD is going to kick in, and I'm going to agree with him. I think it is crooked.
Is it?
Anyway, let's get this back on track.
Right. So based on, no expectations, you coming on, how was your experience today? And I have a lot of questions for you, but I'm going to start wrapping it up to about an hour so that we are both on track and on schedule. But, I enjoyed you.
Hey, listen, I enjoyed these, and I think I've come out and publicly said and shared how much I enjoy doing these. My fingers no longer hurt because I'm no longer pounding on the keyboard, trying to get my message across. I enjoy learning and listening just as much. And I get more out of participating in shows as a guest, because I don't want at any point in time, anyone to think that when I schedule an event, that it's about me, and it's about me pounding my chest and sharing with the world how great I am, because that's the furthest thing that I want to be known for. I'm here to help the community where I can within the scope of my my skill sets, and just enjoying it.
And that comes through.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And I don't know you, but you come through as a genuine person. I don't know how a disingenuine person comes across, but you come across as genuine. Um,
I I'm I'm a first generation immigrant to this country. People wouldn't know it. I've
from
had
Portugal, right?
Yeah, from Portugal. Born in Portugal. Family came over. Uh, the family was a farming community family. Come to North America to build something, and they went from farming to blue collar. So very humble beginnings, very um, humble upbringing, and really appreciate the value of what opportunities have been provided, what opportunities have been squandered, and what lessons have been learned from those opportunities that were squandered. So I try to stick to that script for my upbringing, and just be kind, just be yourself, and
That's
hello, Kendra.
it. You're definitely like Squirrel.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you 10 rapid fire questions that I've never done before. So I don't know how this is going to go,
All right.
but
Well,
let's start it off. What's the one song that instantly boosts your confidence before a live stream?
oh, you're asking the wrong person about music, because there's just so many genres, and I'm like a squirrel when it comes to music. It really depends on how I feel that day. Ironically, I will share with you, my playlist has got a lot of Coldplay on it.
Okay. All right. And that's good. That's good. I'm going to say that your favorite song to get excited about is a throat punch kind of day, right? Because
Yeah, you shared that with me. I love the video, and we'll take that offline. I'd love to hear and learn more about what tool you used. Was that
yeah,
Sumo? Was that created in Sumo?
yeah. So this is what I'm doing, right? So I'm taking everything to the next level. So the podcast, now I'm developing music. So I have my Substack, and I'm just trying to really increase my content. And so I hate the video because of the imagery of myself. And I don't know if all four of those old men are supposed to be me or not. So I don't like that. But yes, Sono, and um, I forget who I use for the video, but I'll share that with you. Um, your coaching superpower: clarity, confidence, or connection. What's your top weapon?
Connection.
First time you realized people actually listened when you spoke. What was that moment?
What was that moment? Well,
Hmm.
I'd have to go back in time, but I'd have to say, with each show, the first comment that comes in, that first hello, and where they're joining from, that is my aha. It's like, all right, I'm no longer just talking to the crickets, no longer just talking to the abyss. There are people listening, and that happens each and every time. So it's not a first time; it's each first.
So this isn't part of my 10, so strike it. But I stopped looking at the number of people watching a long time ago because it's on YouTube, it's on LinkedIn, it's on Facebook. So if you look at the users until you're done, you don't really realize how many people have looked at
That
your
is right.
live stream.
Yeah.
So do you don't worry about that?
I used to consume myself with, all right, we got one, we got
Yeah.
two. It's like you advice for anyone: stop looking at it.
All right.
Just talk, and when the comments start coming in through the chats, then just put your mind at ease. People are listening,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But they're
And
not even, but for some reason, they're not always showing up.
but here's the other thing that I've learned to appreciate, and it's very comparable. You take these live events, whether or recordings, and know one thing: compare yourself to those who are driving to work. Compare yourself to those who are in their morning routine, tuning into breakfast television on some local channel. People come when they're able to, stick around for as long as they're able to, And if your message resonates, they come back and they'll continue consuming that story and consuming that content. And it happens every time. You know, you look at your unique views, compare that to those who are registered attendees, and then compare that to the total views, and you can see instantly that, yeah, people may not have stuck around for the hour,
Yeah.
but you got more views, total views, than you do unique views. That means people are coming back to continue to listen.
Okay.
And that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how many are with you live. And that's, you know, I touched on this earlier when I said with intent and purpose, I did not promote the show, because now I will promote it afterwards. Hey, I just spent a fabulous hour with Bill. You got to listen to this conversation. And
I promoted the hell out of it. I made my own commercial. Yes. I made an article with your face on it. I'm like, okay, people know who he is.
Yeah, that face, I got to tell you, you gave me a Cliff Chin.
Did I? It was
well, AI did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, did you hate it?
Well, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Okay. Worst live stream fail that you still think about at 3 a.m.
I don't think about it because I can't control it. But
okay.
the worst feeling, and I'm sure anyone who hosts these, especially live, is you are at the top of the hour, ready to hit that go live, and no one, and your guest doesn't show up.
Yes, it's terrible. If your personal brand was a tagline, besides seen, heard, remembered, what would it be?
What would it be? The tagline would be, oh, that's a good question. There's just so many thoughts swimming in my head. Intent and impact. Show up intentionally and make an impact.
Okay. All right. Do you get stuck? And when you are feeling stuck, what is your go-to ritual to reset?
Do I get stuck? Yes. We'd all be foolish to say we don't get stuck. My ritual is just walk away.
Mine too.
And just
because we're creative souls, right?
Right. Yeah.
So if we're in it and we're having that block, if something doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel natural, walk away, come back to it.
Yeah. Just walk away. And sometimes it'll be an hour, sometimes it'll be a day. But that emotional detox will reinvigorate and create new clarity. It's like, here's what I'm missing.
Do you feel as if you're flooded after that? And what I mean by that is all of a sudden I'll have like 15 different topics.
Oh my!
Where before I had none.
Yeah, it's an interesting fact that is exactly what happens. Is there'll be so many ideas swimming in my head, and I try not to let those rent space in my head, because then it keeps me from sleeping. I can't shut down. It's like, wow, what am I going to do? And listen, it happens. You're going to get
anxiety.
Do I have anxiety?
Yeah.
Probably not
at a diagnosed level,
but yeah, we all have some level
form of it. Right. Yeah. One piece of advice you wish people would stop giving creators and coaches.
One piece of advice is, I would say, stop force feeding your message. Right? It's not going to work for everyone. Stop over promising and under delivering. Make your message, or shift the tone of your message to articulate, here's what worked for me. And some people do a great job of it. Mm-hmm. But have, in some shape or form, that disclaimer that this might not work for you, but give it a try. It's change the tone, because these messages that come across, especially the ones that promise 10 times anything. My response, the whole 10x conversation, do this with your content and you will 10x. You can do this and it'll, listen, I'm not a mathematician, but 10 times 0 is still 0.
Good point. Good point. You have 2 more. Okay. Are you good with that?
I'm good.
And we're 5:05, so we're a little bit over, but let's just roll through it. If you had to delete all but one social platform, which one are you keeping and why?
Well, hands down, I would keep LinkedIn because that's where,
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
All my other socials, they all point everyone either to my website or to LinkedIn because that's where I'm more prominent. My community engages the most with me. The others are just digital footprints, just to say that I have a presence there.
Okay. All right. And then the final question is, the biggest myth about your personal branding is yours.
The biggest myth about my personal branding is I'm not as stuck up as I might present myself.
So you think you are stuck up, or you think
No,
you're
I'm
not as
I'm,
stuck
I'm the
up?
furthest thing from being stuck up. But
Oh,
sometimes my message, it's like, dude, you are so formal and you are so professional. It's like, loosen up a little bit.
you know what though? I don't. Okay, so I don't know you, but I get just from the 2-minute interactions that you're very approachable. And I think we just met someplace on Keith Keller's or somebody's
Yeah.
platform, but never connected. So I'm very glad we did this. I would love to do it again. I'd love to be on your show, but you haven't invited me yet. So I'll just keep waiting for that and
Nonsense. Let
twiddling my thumbs. Uh, and I wish you the best. If there's anything that I can do for you, anything at all, let me know. Whether it's promoting your brand, whether it's reposting your events,
I
just say the word.
I strongly believe, simply from our storyline in our journeys and how similar we are, that there's a reason and a purpose that people are drawn to one another.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that there's opportunity here for us to
Be friends.
collaborate. And really build something because we have fed off of each other. You purposely put this show together unscripted, and at no point did either of us stumble and fall or were put in a position that we couldn't answer
The only
each other.
awkward part was like my list of 10 rapid pace things, and it was only because that was the only scripted part of the show. So I'm reading, and so and I think that's when it felt a little bit more like, okay, when is this going to be over? The not you, the 10 rapid questions. Hey, I support everything that you do. You have my information. I will text you my number, or not text you, but email you my number. You can contact me anytime, except for Fridays after 8 p.m., Saturdays before 7, and anytime after 6 o'clock, any other day of the week.
Fair enough.
And repost my throat punch kind of day.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with that. Believe
Okay,
you me.
man. Hey, and I'll send you the Sono information and then the AI generator, because we need to learn. It's just another bit of content that I'm just having fun with.
Yeah, and that's I met someone last week, Lion Flood, his name. He also does events, and his his tagline is, if I'm not having fun, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Not all money is good money, right?
That's right. That's
If you're not having fun, if you are dreading your day before you get out of bed, you're not getting paid enough. You're not enjoying it. And I don't think that anyone I don't think that anyone can pay me enough to sacrifice my soul, my integrity, my intention, which is to build love, to uplift everybody around me, and to make everyone feel safe.
Then let's make that happen. We're going to build a show and bring that message, and you'll be my guest speaker, and we'll get you seen, heard, and remembered by my community, and we're going to share that love.
Okay, man.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Everyone,
you.
thank you for joining us, UBU Live, and I appreciate everyone's love and support. Thank you so much, my friend, for coming on. Everyone have a great day.
Take care.